The A Show.
Where smart is the new sexy.
And now, April Hunter.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Can you see us? Can we see you? Hang on a second. Where are you?
No.
Comments. Where are we? I
Where
don't
are-
know. I lost them. Hang on. What did we lose? Hang on a second. We're going to figure this out right now. Hello.
hey.
One of these days
was
we will
fun.
get it down pat, and then it will be so boring for you guys.
That was the alien probe from last week.
I
That
know,
sucked.
I know, it just threw me off. So yes, anyway, hi, welcome to the A Show. And I'm telling you, the day I get this right, and again, Ray used to do this for me, the day I get this right is the day it's just going to get so boring for you guys. Seriously.
Bullshit.
But welcome, my beautiful people, some of whom I got to hang out with this weekend. We got to hang out with this weekend at Tampa Bay Screams. We saw a lot of you. So thank you. It was a wonderful appearance and you guys helped make it better. So we appreciate everybody who's joining us. And we have a fun show today. We've got a lot to talk about and hopefully you guys will talk with us because there's just plenty going on and let's just have a discussion. And we also have Dr. Ron Thomas Jr. joining us later on in the show. So he is one of my university professors at Full Sail University. He was a dean and he was a volunteer fighter and sergeant. So he has a lot of really cool insight on things too. So he'll be coming on around 8 o'clock. So hang in there. And I want to congratulate both Florida and Texas for participating in winter this year.
Yes, it is cold.
It is cold. So yeah,
It's snowing in the Panhandle.
My God, it's snowing in Florida. Yeah, La Nina. La Nina for those who are actually studying, who actually follow the real science. You know that El Nino left, La Nina, which is a cooling period, came in, and that lasted for a little while. So La Nina is living up to its reputation or her reputation. So we're going to have a cooling period for a while as if we didn't do this. So hi to everybody we have. Let's see. Hello, Kurt and Wrestling Fan. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Wrestling Fan.
Nice.
I appreciate it. And Michael, he's asking how we're doing tonight. If we liked horror screams. Hell yeah, it was great. I'm glad you came out. Thank you. And Big Wigs here. Hello. Oh, and Davion is asking, hi. And have I ever cosplayed as Red Sonja?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm known for. That one and Jessica Rabbit. So yes, there's a lot. All you have to do is type in search April Hunter Red Sonja cosplay, and it will come up. There's a lot, but I love any chance to do it again. And we have Allie. Hi, Winona. Brian, what's up? Linda, hey, how you doing? Who else is joining us? We have a few others trickling in. Cool, awesome dude. By the way, thank you for posting the matches. I really appreciate that a lot. Yes, on our Discord channel.
Yes,
so
we need to talk about that.
Yes, everybody coming in, we appreciate you so much. So there was a lot going on this week, crazy stuff. And as some of you know who follow my Twitter, which is, cheap plug April Hunter on Twitter, I usually do basically like a rant a day. So, and it's social commentary. I am, as many of you are in here, we call ourselves a moderate voice of reason. We're not left or right. So I try and see things from all sides. And my rants are usually based on that. So this week we talked about a bunch of different things. If we might get to some of those. So, we talked about, so people were calling for the ban of porn, especially on X. We were discussing, the age-old argument about abortion instead of talking about the fact that we need a safe economy for people to feel okay to have children and we need to, there's things that people never address. They just endlessly argue and go, life begins at conception is life. Conception is life. Okay, well, what are we doing about all that? How are we making people feel safe to?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, to have children,
Mhm.
because right now, when people get pregnant, male fathers, mothers, if anybody gets pregnant, they're probably scared shitless to have to feed another mouth. So, what are we doing to address that problem? So, if we don't get to it today, all these rants or whatever you want to call them, observations are posted on Twitter. And thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So, yeah, so it's
I don't
my,
know if I want to call them rants, but they're definitely
although I should name them Red Rants, Red's Rant,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Big Red
Yeah,
Rants. What, I
yeah.
don't know. What do you guys? What should I call them? Give me some names here. So what are your opinions? I want to hear from you guys, and you too, Eva. How are you guys doing with the election? Like, are we happy? Are we not happy? Are we indifferent? Like, we don't give a shit. Like, uh, so
I'm happy.
Eva's
Where's my
happy.
American flag? Yep.
I'm in the I
I
don't give a shit category. I just want to see a
No, I give a
change.
shit.
So
That's the thing. That's the thing right there. I want
so
to see a change.
mhm.
So I have a lot I could say on that, but let's
I'm
not
not
talk
I'm not I'm
politics.
not for or against Trump. Like, I honestly don't care. I'm neutral. I just want to see the country go in a different way. So,
Well, I like the fact that, whatever president gets in, they usually take it and run, right? And yeah, I'm excited to see a difference, and that's why I was looking up, what he's been doing on his first day. And I
mhm.
don't know if anybody listened to the 30-minute speech yesterday, but it was actually really good, and he had some excellent points to talk about.
Okay. What do you talk about? And if people that are, or if you're writing in, I will add it. Red Sunny, thanks for joining us. Late is better than not being here at all. Matter of fact, I wanted to get a T-shirt. I was like, sorry, I was late, but I didn't want to come at all. So not that that's you, that's me. Um, but and Red Sunny says he doesn't feel comfortable. He's being crazy in a bad way, and I know a lot of people feel that way. So I want to hear from all of you. And oh, we got a
Yes.
Corgo. Corgo, 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 Corgo. Thank you so much. So, and let's see, Bigwig, I think you're in the same camp as me, like lesser of two evils, like whatever. Yeah. So, a lot of us are just like in the middle. We're moderates. We don't care. We just want to see things change from where they
Yes.
were.
Yeah, there's a lot of
So,
things that need to be fixed, and uh, hopefully we'll see where it goes. I appreciate his effort right away, and um, see what
well,
happens. And I'd like to hear everybody's predictions.
I'll tell you one thing to keep an eye on.
What?
Like I said, like, we're moderates, so we have to pay attention to this. He
Right.
did do a freeze for of international help, right? Sending money out
Hmm.
internationally for 90 days, um, to every place except Israel. So, um, which Israel's in a surplus financially, and we are not. Here's
Don't they
another
owe us
thing.
money?
There were everything's so embroiled here with Israel. It's insane. I'm not anti or pro or anything
Yeah,
with
me
this
either.
whole thing. But as we have had people on years ago explaining the whole situation in Israel and Middle East,
Mhm.
and if you look at some of our older podcasts, you'll see all that. We've had experts on who were stationed over there, explaining all of this. And hi to everybody joining us, Daryl and Wolf. But something you have to pay attention to, when they stop financing other countries, all of them, except for Israel, like, that's one executive order now. We have to pay attention to that. Additionally, when he talked about prisoners of war, he mentioned all the prisoners that were Israeli. He never mentioned any of the prisoners on the other side. So, and they're on, we got two things going on here. So
Right.
if you're going to be even and fair,
Hmm.
we have to be even and fair. So there's that.
I agree. I agree.
So, I see people in here happy, see people in here who are not happy.
And
Um,
that's America. That's
yeah. So,
good discussions.
yeah. Daryl's not a fan. Winona
I'm sh-
says he hit the ground running, doing damage control from the previous administration. You got to give him that. That's true. Trump is now supporting the mRNA vax combined with AI. Will specifically tailor vaccines to each individual person. Oh my God, the populist president will kill us all in the end. Well, is he really? I didn't see that, but
I
that's
didn't. I haven't seen that,
no.
but I guess we'll have to look into it, won't we?
Yeah, we will, because I
Yeah,
saw
so
him say that was
I'm gonna make it.
on one of his discussions. That was one of the things that was a problem. So,
Yeah, I'll
um,
look that up too. We'll look into that. Thank you.
yeah. And speaking of on his way out, one of the last things that Biden did was to preemptively pardon that piece of fucking shit murdering asshole, um, Anthony Fauci. So,
Dick. Oh, I'm
why
sorry,
would
I
you
said
have
that.
to?
Dick.
Yeah, that's okay. Why would you have to pardon somebody who has done absolutely nothing wrong and got like a Man of the Year award?
And a
That's
blanket thing from does that go back to when he screwed up HIV? Oh,
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it went back. Well, I didn't go that far back, but it went back to 2014. So why, why would that have to happen?
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, there you go.
yeah, nothing says trust the science more than pardoning Fauci. Exactly.
I
So,
I did see something, and I don't know if and maybe somebody in the chat knows this. I think I mentioned that I think I saw SCOTUS or international law that
mhm,
that does not pardon him.
mhm.
So
You're
hopefully
correct.
that's correct. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yep,
welcome,
yep, there it
Peter.
is. Somebody said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Peter says, hi, new here. Can't stand Trump, to be honest. I don't hate him, but he's not who people make him out to be. And you could be right. It's
Yeah.
like I said, we're moderates. We got to keep an eye on everybody. And
Well, welcome, Peter.
welcome. And Dabian says Elon Musk is my type of guy. LOL. Yeah, a lot of people like him. He's a likable dude.
He is likable.
So here's the I actually was studying up on this before the show so I could figure out what's going on because I was so mad about the Fauci thing. As you guys know, that's my thing. You know, the science and medical and health, that's my thing. And anybody who has followed me for a long time knows that this is not new. I've been doing this for 25 years or longer. And exposing, all of these food companies and diets and all of
Mm,
this. So this is not something that happened since 2020. So this blanket pardon is only federal. It's not on a state level. And it is only COVID related. It doesn't include, and of course he would have to it would have to be guilty to accept that pardon. So that pardon does not include perjury, which
mm.
Rand Paul and Florida, both Rand Paul and Florida are going after him for.
Oh, fantastic.
So it is there are a whole lot of states that are chafing at the bit at a state level to go after a lot of these people who are pardoned. So a federal pardon does not exempt somebody at a state level. So
That's good.
um, it is a weird admission of guilt to do a preemptive pardon to people who were so much a part of the last 4 years in keeping a narrative, whether that was J6 as an insurrection, and that was a weird thing to call it, because an insurrection is very violent and bloody, and a lot of people die, and it's an overthrow of the government. It's a complete overthrow. And anyone who's studied history knows this. It is a complete and utter overthrow. So to call something like that an insurrection was just crazy. But if you say it enough times, people will believe it because that's how neural and linguistic programming works. It's like rare side effects, like all this stuff that they've done to our language lately. So why preemptively pardon all the people who pushed all this stuff? And nothing. I mean, if they didn't do anything wrong, so it's nuts. Yeah. So there's that.
I don't know. I think a lot we're going to see a lot happen in the next 3 to 6 months. And the people that have done things wrong should pay for it, and all the vaccines and all these decisions that politicians made about um, science
Hmm.
that
Is that
they
science
should
with a
be held
dollar sign
accountable.
as an S?
Yes, and they should be held accountable for all the deaths involved.
Yeah,
So
and the deaths that they hid. And Bigwig says, sorry, I pulled that down. I'm more pissed that he pardoned the J6 committee that suppressed evidence. There was a lot of stuff suppressed
mm,
during these past couple of years and edited and censored. And I wonder if we're ever going to be able to get to the bottom of all the craziness that's happened.
that
Um,
something you just said rang a bell to me. Um, you were talking about shadow banning and stuff. So
mhm,
here we have the pulling of the fact checkers, right?
Yep.
But that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the shadow banning issue, which is still going on for you as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do one and not the other. So as far as I'm concerned, if it's going to be free speech, it needs to be entirely free speech.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep. Yep. Allie says, no, it's science, trademark.
yeah.
And Red
Like-
Sunny, you are so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and Notary, what's up, lady? How you doing? And we have
Mm.
Alan joining us. And for those watching us who aren't part of the chat, I just wanted to explain. We have our live viewers, and some of them have been with us forever. And when they comment in, we comment back. So we flip-flop back and forth. And I'll talk about some of this in a minute when we move on from the topic. So don't let me forget, because I know I'm all over the place, and I apologize for that. I'm a non-linear host. So yeah, I would say there's a tree, and most people go up the trunk of the tree, and I hit every freaking branch. I'm like, here. So we'll discuss that, and I'll explain it in a minute. So Damon says we will regarding all these pardons and things and accountability. Now that they're pardoned, they cannot plead the fifth when questioned under oath. Oh, that's interesting.
I didn't know that. Awesome.
So that's very interesting. And Ken Lipson, welcome. If you're going to stay, this is the A Show. He said, what's this channel about? YouTube recommended it to me. Wow, we're being recommended. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we are an all-encompassing show. We talk about everything going on and a little bit more. So welcome. If you hang around, cool. Talk about
hang around.
Comic Cons. We talk about everything. Politics. We talk about photo shoots and, just esoteric topics. So speaking of, I was cleaning out my garage with Eva this past week, and I found a giant box of my former life. So, and there were all kinds of things in there that
What? Give them an example.
No, I wish I should drag that box over here and show you guys. Do you want to see this? You want to see it?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure they would want to.
Okay, because
grab one or two
there's
things.
stuff that people have never seen before. You want to see it? You want me to grab it?
Yeah, I think you should.
All right. In the meantime, you can talk a little bit more about what's going on, and I'll show you guys some things no one's ever seen before. Hang on a second.
Oh, Ken, are we the good guys or the bad guys? There is no good guys and bad guys. We're both, and I would say that that's why we're moderate. So, no, Kenny, no inflatable dolls. Nice one there. Ken, I hope you stick around. There's some comments and questions out there for us. And Brian, she's got some right there. I don't know if you get to see it all, but
all right.
There's some interesting things, that's for sure. And somebody wants to know if there's inflatable dolls in there.
Yeah, there could be. There could be.
Hey, nice. One of the people we just met is in here. Welcome. Hey, Hayes.
What's up? Oh, Hayes. What's up?
Yeah.
If you guys saw that little video clip I just got and posted everywhere, that's Hayes Productions. Awesomeness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here.
I can't wait to get to know you, buddy.
I know. All right. Let's see what we got. Front page stuff. Let me dig for a minute. I think all the good stuff's at the
Thank you,
bottom.
Ken. I hope you stick around.
Oh man, here's a story, you guys. All right.
Ta-da. Yes. All right. Go ahead.
So I'm going to Canada, right?
Ooh, what's that?
This is Winnipeg Sun.
Okay.
And I'm on the front page, as you probably can see right there. Wait.
To the other side.
Yeah, there I am.
There it is. There you are. Beauty and
Bronze.
Bronze.
I didn't know I was on the front page. So
Look at
I was
that.
I was doing a show. Wait, there we go. I was doing a show. So the promoter did not get me a visa in Canada. So I was told to just kind of come through and not give too much of a detail. So I go through customs or the border, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just here to visit my boyfriend." And they're like, "Oh yeah, where's he from? How long you guys been going out?" I'm like, "Not long." And I'm going through and I'm digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper. And they're like, the customs agents, I don't understand why I'm not just being passed through, right? He reaches under the desk like this and he goes, and are you sure that's not you? And I was like, I'm like, it is, but I'm doing a benefit show for fundraising for fundraising. Man, they took me into a side room and strip searched me so fast.
You made that guy's day. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I got into trouble. I ended up like hours and hours later being allowed into the country, but I got a mark on my passport after that, which was not fun.
Well, that's an interesting memory there.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
What else you got?
Let's see. Americana 2 from Japan. So some of these,
Whoa. What
yeah,
is that,
somebody,
magazine?
yeah. So
That's
they
cool.
did a whole thing of wrestlers who worked in Japan and on a regular basis. So there's me.
Nice.
Yeah. I
That
can't
doesn't
read
even
it.
look like you.
Yeah, it does. That looks like me, right? No?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Let's see. Got a Pro Wrestling Illustrated right there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. John Cena's on there.
You can't see it. Right. And somewhere, I'm in here somewhere. I should have marked the page. I didn't know I wasn't sure we were going to do this for sure, but just for fun. Here.
Oh. What the heck? There's a butt shot.
Yeah, I'm in there somewhere. I'm not sure, probably centerfold thing or something.
The first time that the anal probe came around.
Yeah,
Aliens.
probably. Yeah. Yeah, there's some really cool. I got that one.
Oh wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I don't even know where these came from. I do know that in one of these matches, oh, that's Sumi getting ready to kick me in the face. She just had her retirement match. Let's see. I do know in some of these matches, one of these matches, I was in England. Let me see if I can find that one. And oh, that one's topless. Okay, this is a weird thing. Hang on, I can show you, but not show you. So we'll.
Don't want to get kicked
Oh
off.
yeah, I don't want to get kicked off this. Let me put a little something over there. Somethings. So this is Mexico or Romania. Hang on. There we go. Romanian newspaper.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that it's nude.
Right, I know. So each culture is so different. When I would when I was on tour, I started collecting a Playboy from every country I was in. And it was so fascinating, the vast difference of I guess culture, like what they considered beautiful. I remember in France, the girl was like all natural and barely wearing any makeup. And then I would go up to it was Bulgaria, and it was a girl that looked like she was in Penthouse, like she was all hot, hot, kind of hard looking, and tons and tons of makeup and big teased hair, smoking a cigarette with her legs spread, and and it was just funny that the difference, the massive difference. So here's one of my fun movies.
Oh, somebody's asking too. What was your wrestling name? Did you have a couple different names?
I did, but it was primarily April Hunter. So when I first started though with Chaotic Wrestling, it was. Oh, that was a mess. I just spilled a mess everywhere. I literally just spilled a mess.
And now the dog's getting up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Max.
Oh, gross. Gross. Yeah, when I first started, it was Arch Kincaid and April Kincaid. So
I hear people throw out Big Red. Is that was one of your names?
That was one of my nicknames. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, crazy redheaded bitch.
that's it. Yeah,
Good one,
got
Kenny.
that one as yeah. Ugh, that's why I didn't want to bring that pile over. It's questionable at best.
A quick synopsis for Ken here, since he's new. Ken, she was involved in a lot of things. TNA, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
And keep going.
I
We have a
started.
long list.
Yeah, I started with WCW, and then I was with where did it go from there? TNA Impact, Ring of Honor.
WCW, right? Or women? Or
Yeah, I started with
WOW?
them. I got trained at Killer Kowalski's while I was there, both WWF, which was at the time, and ECW fell apart. So I ended up going overseas and working overseas primarily. So I worked Ring of Honor, Jersey All Pro, AAA, 01. So, just working all of Japan, England, Canada, all of that. So I basically
Mexico, United States.
Yeah, worked Mexico, Puerto Rico, IWA. So yeah, all over. I just didn't work WWE. Thank you, Wolf. WEW, which is sad to say, still all over the channels. You can't get away from that. But yeah, that is where I am.
Ken, you can always check her out on all the different ones and platforms, and you can see what else she's about. And
yeah, I feel it every day. I feel it every day.
Well, you officially retired, really only last year, I guess, right?
No, I do signings, but I retired. My last match and doing all that stuff was 2000. Well, probably 2014 or 15 when I was with Shine Wrestling as a manager. I'll be right back. I'm gonna I made a mess. So I'm gonna dump this and be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Oh. Spit out your taco. Funny. Brian, she should. I think a lot of people have said that to her. She should do a biography. And I'm not a YouTube master, Ken. Thank you for asking that, but I am friend and family cousin. So yes, and I'm just helping out. So you have to drop some notes and let us know about you, Ken. I'm glad to see you here. Oh yeah, that's a good question. What is this? Can you hear me yet?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the strangest piece of wrestling memorabilia you have owned?
Oh God.
That's a
Of
good
my
question.
own or someone else's?
Both.
I'm trying to think.
You're thinking really hard there.
Yeah, so people have given me some weird things. Okay, somebody actually made me an action figure. It's not strange, but it was really cool. So that, and then one year, I'm wiping things down. Sorry, I made a total mess because that was out in the garage and there was all kinds of questionable things with it, and I spilled that all over. I wanted to make sure that was cleaned up. One year, Rain, Radiant Rain, Angelina, and all our birthdays are around the same time. So somebody made us a cake using fondant, and then it was a big cake, and they made it into a ring, wrestling ring,
cool.
and they put us in the wrestling ring with all our pets. So I have I have the 2 corgis. Angelina had her cats, and
cool.
Rain had her. I think she had Frenchies or Bostons. So it's really cool. And Ken, my X handle is April Hunter, so I'm easy to find. But yeah, and then we kept those with the little statues on top. We got to keep, so it was really cool.
Allie's got a question.
I don't know. It's a good question. What do you guys think? If there was an April Hunter biopic, who would play her?
That's a really
So
good one.
yeah,
Thanks,
I
Hayes.
don't even, I don't
Appreciate it.
know. Yeah. Hayes, thank you for
People are
everything.
people are asking too about if you consider doing an autobiography. Okay, yeah. And this way, look at all the stories in Dirt. Oh my.
Big wig, you're spot on. I'm not really into trashing people.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it takes a lot for me to trash somebody. Um,
Oh, look at that. Trading cards.
wow. Attitude Era was the best,
IMAX.
wasn't it? It was the best. Um, yes, Brian, thank you. Only April could play April. Scarlett
There you
Johansson, is that
go.
what you're recommending Scarlett? Okay, I'll take it.
Cool.
Um, yeah. I'm Oh, speaking of meeting me in person one day, Damon, I do have a couple of appearances coming up, and one of them is wrestling related. So I have other right now I think they're all primarily Florida, but we're working on getting out and about or out and about. Um, where am I? Okay, February, middle of February. I have to look this up, and you can look it up too. But I'm in Broderick Con, which is around Largo. They're a
Mhm.
small convention.
It's a good
Um,
one though.
yeah, it's a good one. It's independently owned, small one. This is their second year. Um, Colin, what's up, yo? Love you.
Hey.
Middle of March, at the Clearwater Comic Con, which is also a really fun one. They do a cosplay competition, the whole 9 yards, and that's over in Clearwater, Florida. Highly recommend that. That one's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
At the end of March, I'm at a wrestling convention that is doing a WCW wrestling theme.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's March 29th on
Yep,
leap
I just looked
year.
it up.
Yeah, leap year. So that'll be in
That's in
Lutz.
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 Lutz,
Yeah.
Florida, which is an area that's interesting. There is actually what's just north of Tampa. So
Yeah, that's Dave lives there. What's my blanking?
there's lots of people living there.
Dave.
Actually,
Dave.
Rock has a place there too.
Yeah,
Dave, which
a
one?
lot of wrestling. Dave, come on, help me out here. Guardians of the Galaxy dude with the
Oh, oh, the big guy,
yes. I just
the
know him
big
as Dave.
boy.
I know him as Dave.
Yeah.
Yes, Batista. Thank you, Colin. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah, Batista lives there. Anyway,
Yes, 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 yes.
see, um, yeah. So there's a lot of wrestlers in this area. Look at all you guys. You're amazing. All these Batistas coming in. So yeah, he's actually super cool dude in person. Some of them are, some of them aren't. He's a winner.
Never know. I
Yeah.
have to look
So
and
yeah,
see who's scheduled to be there.
wrestling convention end of March on leap year, and that's Lutz, and then we have what do we got? Up in the Mount
June.
Dora area. Yeah, in June there's
Yes.
a fan fest. Is that what's that one called?
Lake
Lake
Collecticon.
Collecticon. We're back up in that area too, and the calendar's starting to get full, so it's fantastic. And I appreciate
Yeah,
when I
if you
get to
guys
meet you
have
guys in
ideas
person.
of places you want to see April, you better start throwing it out there.
Yeah. Ask for me. It helps. Apparently,
Hmm.
you guys asking for me is totally helping. So, and everybody coming
Look in
in
North
late, War
Carolina.
Demon, Ayo, what's up? So it's nice to see you
Definitely.
guys. So that's what's
Keep it
going on.
volunteer.
We found some crazy, wrestling memorabilia. There's a lot more. I found like my tour schedule from I was working AWR, which is a a group out of Dublin, We'll be at the pub at 4:30. What's the crack?
Oh yeah.
So
You know what? We need to bring that up right there too.
yes. So we did
Hold that thought, Hayes.
yes. So I had my entire tour schedule from, we were in Germany and France and Romania and Bulgaria and England. So it was funny. I kept the whole thing because I remember waking up and not knowing what the fuck, where am I? I don't know where I am. So yeah, I kept all these little things. I kept all my prescriptions from Germany and France. And Oxycontin. I didn't fill it. I never filled it because I don't take Oxycontin. I don't take any of the painkillers. I just, I take like Tylenol 3. I go to Canada and get Tylenol
What
3 if I need something. And
it's good to know other countries were trying to give that to you as well, besides America.
yes. What's up, Allison? Yeah, I don't. I just. I'm not in a. I've seen too many of my coworkers destroyed by uh, painkillers, so I just don't take them. So I kept all my prescriptions for keepsakes. So
Um,
Yeah.
War Demon is asked. I don't know actually.
What was WCW Con called? What is it called, or what was it called? The one that's coming up, I can't remember the name of it. Something really strange. It's unusual.
What, the one in
So
Leeds?
I'm blanking. Yeah, I'm blanking.
Oh,
One of
I'll
the
look.
one of the people at Tampa Bay Screams recommended it this week. Hmm. So I'm
Uh,
blanking on that. So, but
I'm
yeah.
pulling it up now.
But anyway, yeah. If you want to find out more, and I can post all this stuff too. I'm on Twitter. It's April Hunter. You can follow me on Patreon, patreon.com April Hunter, and Real April Hunter on both Facebook and Instagram. So, and oh, speaking of, you guys, I saw people like losing their freaking mind about TikTok. Didn't I tell
Oh
you?
my
Didn't I tell you it
God.
was going to be a last minute save? They were going to come back. So there's just, do you know something like $24 billion is made on TikTok? And that's all tax and legal. So they're not going to let that thing dump.
No.
But what was interesting, what was super interesting, is that they did it under the pretense of safety and China. So, um, no, and what's crazy is we use like Lenovo for our, computers
And I'm on that.
systems.
I'm on a
Yeah, we use them
Lenovo.
for our Lenovo for our
Mhm.
computer systems. We actually export our chicken and let China, you know, what do you call it? Process it, and then they send it back. We allow the Chinese to buy up our land, especially our farmland, at unprecedented amounts. Um, so there's so many things that contradict that narrative. It was kind of crazy. So if you start digging deep, would you like to know what that was actually about?
Yes.
It was about Israel. So we are so in bed deep with Israel. Again, I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't care. I don't whatever. But they do censor a lot of things. Like they're the ADA, the Anti-Defamation League. Like that, remember we did a show ages ago where they changed the definition of racism. So that was them. So they didn't care for the fact that they could not censor TikTok. And there was a lot of anti-Israeli uh, sentiment on there, pro-Palestinian. So they pulled some strings and it came down. And when it came back up, I guess everybody had like a thought bubble over over their stuff now, even on Instagram and
Mhm.
Facebook. Like, what are your thoughts? So
Yeah. Been
yeah,
hearing
I'm
that.
so tired of the deception and lies. I really, really
Mhm.
am.
Just leave us
So
all alone. We just want to chat.
yes. So,
So-
but what's alarming is it really wasn't about TikTok so much as it was setting a precedent for being able to take something down under a false pretense, just like that, that affects so many people. So I'm not really, I have a, like a, I don't, I'm not really a big TikTok person at all. Um, but if you can do that with, and again, in my generation, we've seen a lot of stuff come and go, like MySpace and Yahoo groups and everything. But if you can do that with something, you set a precedent to take down anything
Sure.
with, so how does that work exactly? Because we're a country of precedents and laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, free speech.
Yeah.
I just feel like we need to stand up more. I don't know how this money or whatever situation, how this came across with TikTok, but it was totally, I'm not a huge, I don't get on there that much, so it doesn't bother me, but it just shouldn't happen. That's all. It
Mm.
shouldn't happen. Yeah, the Lemon 8, yeah.
Yep,
There was all
Damon,
kinds of
Yahoo
stuff.
groups. Remember that was a big
Yeah.
thing back then.
Yes.
And
And you got a lot. That's how you got your information.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And I've got
Oh,
some fans from way back when back in the day with MySpace and Yahoo groups still. Hasey says, I heard a hypothetical that Meta might have bought TikTok too. I don't know if it's true or not though. Well, how would we know anything these days? They keep so much information from us. So
but yeah,
uh,
TikTok, they say was owned by China, and it was not.
it
So,
wasn't. No,
no.
it's owned by ByteDance Corporation, and 60% of TikTok is not owned by China. It's owned by
Yep,
investors.
that's correct.
Yeah. So
So,
it's kind of weird.
oh,
Yeah, a lot of
somebody
people were
sent me this.
using Red Note. A lot of people were going to Red Note to have somebody sponsor, having a Chinese person sponsor their TikTok accounts. So,
Oh
and
yeah, what do
yes,
they
we're
call it? The
Demon,
refugee.
MySpace. We're MySpace friends from back in the day.
Um, since we're getting close to that time at 8 o'clock, can we go through a couple things?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, Screams. There was a lot of, and I just want to say something about Screams if you don't mind,
No,
because a
go for
couple
it.
people are in here from Screams as well. They, it was one of the best networking, I think, in reference to you, the A show and stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, of meeting all kinds of new film people, and Hayes, who's in here, made that video for you, and
Hmm.
his father, Dr. Paul Bearer, his father was there as from Creature Feature.
Hmm.
It was a pleasure getting to know them as well, and
Hmm.
so many people. I'm excited for the people that we got to talk to and the people that might end up on the show as guests.
I am
So
too. We made a lot
coming
of
going
contacts with that.
forward, there's a lot of guests possibly coming up, and also, oh yep, there he is. That's
Hmm.
Denise Duff, and that is Hayes's father, Dr. Paul Bearer.
Hmm.
And the Hearst was there.
Hmm.
There's so many pictures that I haven't posted anything either. I think you got a few pictures out there I saw.
Hmm. I'm still working on it
But
now.
one of the things that we didn't get, and they should know, is that the clock came out on Blu-ray, just a Blu-ray DVD last week, and unfortunately, the gentleman who had it was out
Mm,
sick for Sunday. So, but you guys can buy it up. You should have a copy, and never know what else is coming up in the pipeline for April.
awesome.
Um, so anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there with Screams. I just thought it was a great event, and
No, it was. It was a really cool thing. It felt like more of almost like a family event, a networking event. It was, just very, very cool people, and I love it. And
yeah.
it's fun. The guy looks like Sven from the Me TV show.
Oh my goodness.
um, yeah, definitely. Ali says we were friends on MySpace back then too. I don't think we ever chatted with each other, but you added me, and that's it. Yeah, yes. Um, I remember
One of the
stalking you in the
nicest,
MySpace days.
oh my gosh, some of the
Oh, Red
nicest things I
Honey.
heard was how you talk to your fans
Oh,
um,
really? Because
all these years.
I've gotten so much worse at it because, and thank you, Red Sunny. I will look. I appreciate that. I've gotten worse at it because I mean, I love it in person. I love it in person. I love it on here, but it's so hard for me to keep up now with having like 12, 13, 14 different inboxes from all across everything. And can I just tell you, I have some of the most amazing fans and we have the most amazing viewers on here. But, 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 um, but out there and about, especially with the opinions and things that I put out there, it's not always that friendly. Like last week, I put something up about the H-1B visas and the difference between legal immigration versus illegal immigration. And I've been through that process of legal immigration and what people are and are not entitled to. It's nothing like the migrants. I mean, it's not, it's a whole entire different process. And people were, wishing me death and telling me I wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. You are a fucking cunt. Like also they were saying all these things to me. So this is the kind of stuff that I get sometimes for putting information out there or suggesting things. And, my inboxes are inundated with a variety of comments and often a lot of people wanting things like, you know, can you be on my podcast? Can I do this? Can you do this? Can you do this type of video for me? Can you do this? And I'm exhausted sometimes. I just don't have the energy to deal with it. So
Well,
there's only
Cameo
there's
if
only
they
so
want
much
those kind of things.
time. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm trying to
Lots of
get to the
comments coming
things that I
in.
do have to do. I owe Bigwig a video
Oh,
from like months ago. Months ago. So just trying to
whoops.
get the three of us on the same page to shoot the video. So yeah. Well, anyway.
Um, Alexis Baca, I think she was with the movie. Yes.
Huh?
And um, Damon had asked if Alexis was part of the clock. I believe I recognize that name. Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Bigwig. I appreciate that. And Hazy says, I personally have had my share of bad apples in communities. You win some, you lose some, regardless whether you're winning or losing people. People will find a way to hate. Just keep on pushing. Yeah. Yeah. I find, yeah, somebody said that earlier, and they said it's very important to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm going to add this to you guys. It is very, very important. And I'm going to go back to the neurotypical thing right after this. And then we're going to bring on Dr. Ron Thomas Jr. But I'm going to add that when you are trying to make it anywhere, you need to put blinders on, because there's going to be so many forces out there, and they come in a variety of flavors. Everything from people standing in your way, trying to distract you, to procrastination by masturbation. Okay. There's going to be all kinds of forces to get in your way to stop you from reaching the best version of yourself and your creative endeavors. So you cannot take criticism or compliments to heart. So, because compliments can do you in faster than criticism. You have enough people licking your ass telling you how great you are and you're going to be the next big thing, it'll slow you down, like the rabbit and the tortoise. So you have to just keep going on and just move forward. And there are a lot of people out there who are told by their parents, have a backup plan, have a backup plan, have a backup plan. Let me just tell you something. Do not have a fucking backup plan.
Okay.
You can have a lateral plan that feeds into what you're doing, but you should not have a backup plan, because once you have a backup plan, that's putting your energy backwards. So if you believe in yourself, if you think that you have what it takes, if you can do this shit, you move forward and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you put the blinders on and you keep fucking going. Do not have a backup plan. That sends your energy backwards, and it makes you lazy, and it makes you go, well, I've got a backup plan. I've got a backup plan. And there's a million people out there who are not living their best life, and they live a shitty fucking life, and they're miserable every day, and they had a dream. They had a dream, and now they put on a stupid fucking uniform every day, and they work 8 fucking hours with a 2.5 hour commute or whatever it is, because they gave up their dream because of that backup plan. Mm-hmm. So do not have a backup plan. Now you can take a lateral plan. You can get side educated in things. Like if you are doing, I don't know, if you're working in computers, taking a photography class or an editing class or other things on the side feeds into what you're doing. Taking a music classes can feed into what you're already doing and broaden what you are also working on. But if you're trying to be a rock star, don't go and get your degree in something that has nothing to do with being a rock star. I won't feed into it. And this was told to me in a very short version by somebody else this week, and I'm stealing that from them because I absolutely back that up 100%.
Nice.
So, yeah, I just think you should, if you believe in yourself, just move forward, and don't there's always going to be haters.
There's always going to be people try to get in your way, and don't let them do it.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
See, look at that. See why I live for Rants Red. How about Red's Rants? How about Red's Rants?
Thank you. And before we bring on Dr. Ron Thomas, I wanted to say one more thing. And we're going to touch on this more probably next week, depending on if we have a guest or not, which we are working on bringing all kinds of people in. So keep getting your notifications and sharing us. It really helps. And oh my God, Bigwig, you're funny. He goes, that's why my marriage failed. I had backup plans and my wife found out.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I am not. I'm not neurotypical.
Really?
Yeah, right. And when we have there's like a 16 personalities that's based on Carl Jung. And when we do that, there are people out there that are IN or EN, which is intuitive, what is the word? What is the thing? Introverted intuitive or extroverted intuitive.
Yes.
And there are about 4 groups of these people, and then out of these 16 groups of personality. And there's something called IN Babel, and that's what we do. And it can be frustrating to people who like something done in a linear way. And that's what I was speaking about earlier. A lot of people will tell a story and they go straight up that tree trunk all the way to the top. And sometimes I'll veer off and hit every branch on the and then I branch off and I'm here and I branch off and I'm here because it reminds me it's like I'm branching off. So I just wanted to explain that that happens, and I do the IN babble, and it's just how my brain works. It's very strange, and while I'm not going to apologize for it, I just want to explain it. And usually INs and ENs and all that, we all understand each other very well and can keep up because we're talking about 4 or 5 different conversations at once all over the place. And I feel like a lot of you are similar and kind of like me in that way.
Well, they keep up with you. So
Yeah, you do. So I appreciate you. When Nona says that's what happened to me, I did art when I was younger. I ended up going to college, changed from teaching to nursing to business management, realized college wasn't my thing, and circled back to art. Good for you. So
that's cool.
all right. So what we are going to bring in Dr. Ron Thomas. So Dr. Ron Thomas is a retired university dean and professor. He actually taught at Full Sail University, where I graduated. He is a former sergeant and volunteer firefighter. So he knows some stuff about knowing some stuff. So let's bring him in now if he's ready. There we go.
I'm
Hi.
here.
Yay.
Are you picking me up?
Yes, Dr. Ron Thomas. Welcome. Hi
Welcome.
there.
Thank you.
So
Did not turn on the video because post-op me is not very presentable yet.
oh, that's okay.
Don't stop.
I had the rotator cuff done Saturday, so moving slow and flying low.
He's just out of surgery, and he was nice enough to come on to the A show. Just days, and he's in a sling and everything else. So thank you for that.
No, it's my pleasure, and it was interesting the side discussion that we were having regarding the whole fire service universe, which is, I guess, how we got drawn into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got some input on that. You've got a lot of experience with that. I did a rant basically saying that I'm tired of the world trying to buy into the fact that women and men are 100% equal, and that we are not. So women are strong in some ways and stronger than men in some ways, and women are weaker in some ways, and men are stronger than women in some ways and weaker than men, women. I'm saying that wrong, but you know what I'm saying. And we are created to complement each other and work together. And there are far too many out there who are believing this Hollywood narrative bullshit that women are completely equal to men and should be in the same exact fields, and I said, we're going to die by equality when you send a woman in as a fire person, I guess, to rescue somebody who's 400 pounds and get them out of, some people agreed with me and some people didn't. And you and I had a conversation about that.
Well, as a starting point, I think we can stipulate that we can find that one outstanding person who is the exception to whatever general tendency we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So we can find that one person, but the one person doesn't make a trend.
Yes. And there's always going to be the exception. There are always going to be exceptional females in the military, in the fire department, in the police. But there's a reason that they usually pair female cops up with male cops.
And that could be as much for emotional balance as well as physical balance.
Mm-hmm.
I despair of the fact that we don't have 2 people to a police car anymore. Now, with budget cuts, you tend to have just one person, whereas you don't have the built-in second. My father was a reserve deputy, and a lot of the fellows would ask if he was free to ride that night because just going in by yourself, not the safest thing to do. So Dad was glad to volunteer to be the auxiliary deputy so that people weren't out there riding alone.
I didn't know that would happen. I didn't know the cuts were that bad.
Oh, well, think about the old TV shows like Adam 12 or Dragnet. You always had partners going out. One of my best friends from high school got out of the Marines, went went on the police department and was driving by himself all the time. Almost everybody on the department was driving solo. Which is why you see so many cars show up at an incident, because that's one person per car. Anyway, the point about men and women being different, just the fact that our belly buttons are at different heights, that indicates we have a different center of gravity, that our body mass is distributed differently. So no matter what social construct somebody wants to use, no matter what training, what experiences somebody has, there are some basic things that will always be different, be it muscle density, length of certain bones, which creates mechanical leverage, lung capacity, all sorts of things that where physics is physics. I think one of the things that I mentioned to you the other day, water weighs 8.8 pounds per gallon. Period. Doesn't matter who's picking it up. Doesn't matter what color the bucket is. The only thing that matters is if it's at sea level above or below, or if it's fresh water or salt water. But in general, fresh water, sea level, 8.8 pounds per gallon. Nothing we can do about that. So if the test to become a graduate firefighter is to pull a 1.5-inch charged line of water for 150 yards, the water does not care who's pulling it. The hose does not care who's pulling it. 150 yards is still going to be 150 yards. So I would say that one of my great rules of life is do the math, because that will take us to the objective fact rather than how we would like it to be or what we would prefer. There are things where we don't get choices because the math has already been decided.
Yeah. Well, this was originally aimed at the fact that they are desperate to get females in combat. They really, really want to. And even in countries like Israel, where they have mandatory military for all, they have females that are labeled as in combat, but they don't put them in direct combat. They'll have them on tank duty. So when they can't pass that law, what they start doing is propagandizing film and TV. So many of you are familiar with that new show called Lioness that just came out. And I love Taylor Sheridan, but we can't. Taylor Sheridan has been bought and paid for by the cigarette company, the oil companies, and definitely by the military industrial complex, because the things that they are showing, as somebody who has been in the ring with males, as somebody who has been kicked in the ribs, as somebody who has been punched in the face, the things that they're showing this woman going through in her training and then getting back up from, this is not something that is realistic. And you get people who will start believing that, oh, this is how it is, that all women are, a woman can take on 2 guys and be fine. No, she fucking can't, really. There's the anomaly out there, but most women, this is not going to be a thing. So, and that's what I put up. I said, females in combat, equal rights. Yes. Wasn't that meant for equal pay? Are biological men having babies with this new equality? Science deniers everywhere. There's a reason teenagers on a high school under 15 team destroyed the U.S. national women's soccer team. Women are strong, but in a different way. And then I continued and I said, I'm sure a 350-pound man can't wait to be rescued from a burning building by a 5'5" female firefighter, because he'll probably die from equality. And hopefully the men who are fine with women on the front line are fine with their daughters being overpowered by 2 guys and being tortured, crippled, psychologically damaged, dismembered, and probably raped, because that's war, and all is fair in war. It's not pretty, and it's not a fucking movie. And young people are being sent to lands where women are not well thought of to begin with. They'll receive a special kind of torture, assuming they'd be at a great distance with an automatic weapon all the time, is delusional. So I finished with, are there exceptions to this? And I was just talking about how I myself have been through a lot of hits, a lot of falls, a lot of ass kicking. But, I said, I'm a physique competitor. I'm a national level bodybuilder. I'm a physique competitor. I'm very, very strong, and I still can be easily overpowered by a male. And deadlifting dead weight is very, very difficult. Women simply do not have the matching upper body strength. This isn't Hollywood where chicks are cast to take on several dudes, kick their asses, and win every time, with stunt people taking the hits, the falls, and all the injuries. It's just a way for people to make money across all audiences and comply with DEI. And yes, that really DEI really is a strict thing in filmmaking, to the point where you can't even be nominated for awards without fulfilling it first. I know they love to scream DEI all the time, but in film and movies and TV, that's a thing. There is a reason most female cops are paired with males. I've always been a champion for equal rights across the board with humanity, but there's a point where people are just getting beyond stupid now. So are there exceptions to this? Of course. And some trans men can give birth, but it's few and far between, and these are anomalies. Women are mentally, emotionally, and psychologically strong. They should be planning the psyops, not executing them. Men and women complement and cover for each other, and our strengths and weaknesses work together. We are not equal, but we should get paid the same for the same jobs. And we should stop competing and work together. That's how we're created. So can we please stop denying science and confusing Hollywood and pro wrestling for reality? Because testosterone, as you mentioned, is science. And that's what makes for the stronger bone density and all the things that make men stronger than women.
Well, I'll come back to something that you mentioned before, speaking about the Jungian archetypes. Every time I've taken that examination, and this goes back to the 80s, I've come up an INTJ, introverted, intuitive, thinking judger, which is great if you're going to be a head football coach, draw up game plans and hand them to people and expect them to perform that perfectly. Because I don't care who it is, you're number 88. I want you to run that pattern, that many yards, period. Fulfill the plan. Not very good for working in large social organizations. Fortunately, my first secretary was smarter than me, and she had every opposite trait. She could fill in my gaps. So she understood when I needed to make an appearance on campus, when I needed to go meet a new person. Small story, but probably indicative. One of the ladies on my floor, who was secretary to the dean of instruction, was out sick. And her job was to type up the things for the college catalog. And she'd been out sick for a while. So my secretary came to me asking for the obligatory $5 to send flowers to the house. To which I said, just explain this to me for a minute. You other ladies are in here doing her work for her. Why are we sending compensation to the person who is not working rather than collecting compensation for those of you who are doing extra work? The math did not make sense to me. She said, okay, now you owe me $10, because I didn't get the emotional content of being in that relationship with that many other people. My job was getting so many pages of content turned out on a particular schedule. Partly I was being facetious. I'm not totally insensitive. But the idea that I was task-oriented and she was relationship-oriented. And between the two of us, we could be mission-oriented because we could get the whole thing done. So yes, we have the rare exception. Somebody has a greater trait one way or the other than the trend line would indicate. But we need all of those aspects covered in order for the group to succeed. And lying to ourselves about me being a touchy-feely person is not going to get the job done, because I'm not.
That makes sense. Oh. I agree. What's your opinion, Eva?
Actually, I have a question. Well, I don't know. Maybe so part of my family is firefighters and adrenaline junkies, and two of my nieces are firefighters. One is also a trauma nurse in ER, and she has been known, as tiny as her frame is, to pull some big people out. I understand there's a lot of technique to that as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but the youngest niece, no, I can't see her doing that. But the older one, yeah, she's a pretty tough girl.
You're exactly right when it comes to technique. And there is also a change in the profession that I'll come back to. But when we would have male recruits come out One of their tasks is simply to pick up a 24-foot ladder and hang it on the side of the apparatus, right? The ladder's on the rack on the side of the truck. Well, with their upper body strength, they can just grab it however and hang it up there. The female cadets did not have that excess upper body strength. So by technique, they would take their fingers, count from the outside in, find the center point, and then once they had the balance point for the ladder, then they could grab it with equal weight on either side and hoist it up onto the rack. So they had to use a little bit more smarts than muscle because they didn't have the excess muscle. And in most tasks, if you grip the tool correctly, if you brace yourself correctly, you can do a good job. You can overcome the brute strength part with better technique, better analysis, the working smarter thing. But there's a change in the fire rescue business that I think we're not paying attention to.
Okay. What's that?
We don't have as many structural fires as we used to. These days, somebody could make lieutenant and never have gone to a house fire in his career. The former chief down in Southeast Florida, who I'm not going to name names or departments, but he said to me, I run a medical service that sometimes goes to fires. This is why somebody generally cannot get hired just as a firefighter anymore. They have to be firefighter EMT or firefighter paramedic, because they are making many more medical runs than they are structural fire runs. And the nice thing about that is that you can bill for medical. So you can bill Medicare, you can bill the health insurance. Nobody is reimbursing the fire department for showing up for a kitchen fire. That's an expense the department eats. But when they show up and provide medical services and transport, well, there's some billable money that can be recovered. So yes, follow the money. That's a part of everything. But if you were to look at the advertisements in the trades where public safety departments are looking for people, you don't see them advertising for firefighter. They're advertising for firefighter / EMT, firefighter / paramedic, because the medical piece is a much bigger proportion of the job than it used to be. There are communities in Southeast Florida where residential sprinklers are mandatory in new construction. So you really don't have the room and contents fire except in very bad neighborhoods. So yeah, firefighters don't go to as many fires. They go to lots of car wrecks and they go to lots of chest pains.
Yeah, my uncle's a firefighter, and he said the same thing, that usually if you want somebody there quickly, call the fire department, not the police. They're going to show up a lot faster. And Bigwig says, I'm going to play devil's advocate. What's the difference between a 25-year-old woman and a 60-year-old man?
Is that 35 years?
Of experience, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
I know when we put up kayaks on the roof, there's a technique in doing that allows you to do it instead of brute strength,
Right.
where, if you're dealing with former hand damage like I've gotten with wrestling, there's a way to do it. But
well, then we talk about you can have 20 years of experience, or you can have 1 year of experience 20 times.
mm-hmm.
Are you doing something newer? Are you advancing? Or are you just doing the same thing that you did in 2002? Well,
Yeah.
Of course, you're not any better because you haven't advanced with those 2 decades.
Right.
Your commenter said that it was very similar to martial arts. Absolutely. If you can use somebody else's momentum. I was in a seminar down in Tampa years ago, and I kept doing the hold wrong because I was taller than the person that I was sparring with.
Mm-hmm.
So what was supposed to be a defense against a downward knife, I kept turning it into a top wrist lock because that was where my hands went. That was where the difference in my height with the other fellow's height led my body to want to go. So yeah, we can work naturally. We can work with the directions and angles that are given to us, and then whatever the weaknesses are in the other person, we can take advantage of them. Of course, everybody I fight is not going to be 6'3", 250. So there's going to be some sort of difference in reach, age, stamina. So Yeah, we're always adapting to something else. I think that the way that women have shown me that they can adapt to some of these physical challenges, it's about technique. It's knowing how to do it correctly. It's knowing how to equip themselves correctly, and maybe working differently than trying to do the same thing. But
So,
that 150-yard hose full of water still weighs what a 150-yard hose full of water is going to weigh.
it's pretty heavy. So what's your opinion about what's going on in California and how that's been handled?
This brings us to an area that we interacted with a lot, especially in the 90s. We started doing a lot more in Florida with cross training between forestry firefighters and structural firefighters. They called it the rural urban interface, where you get into the suburbs and you're on the woodsy edge of a built up area. So that, yeah, you might have brush fires on the edge of an incorporated area, or you might have a little town tucked off in the woods. So we needed to learn things from each other.
Okay.
Brush management is huge because you have to take out the tinder that is waiting to become a fire later. I joke
Which
in Florida,
they're not
we only
doing,
have,
right?
no, because of protecting one thing or the other, or because of how long it takes to get a permit to clear grounds. But because of artificial interference, the things that nature would have done to have had a lightning strike and spark off and burn up some dry things in the course of a natural year, that didn't happen. I used to joke that Florida only had 3 seasons: hurricane, wildfire, and football. The hurricanes put out the wildfires. Well, if you are going through historic periods of drought, then you get crunchier and crunchier underbrush that doesn't need much to let it off. If you're also going through the drought, your water table and reservoirs are not replenishing as readily. So things that you need to maintain that balance are not naturally balancing themselves. If I were writing a science fiction story, I would be thinking about the next world war is not going to be about oil. It's going to be about potable water, the control of water as a resource.
Yeah, blue gold.
Well, we had a problem in Northwest Florida, where Florida, Alabama, and Georgia come together. Atlanta was growing. It needed water, so it needed to dam up, I want to say, the Apalachicola River, which was restricting water to come down to North Florida to refill the lakes and reservoirs. And it became a whole federal case, literally, because it was 3 states at odds with each other over a finite amount of water that they needed to share. Again, physics and math.
So what do you think with California? Obviously, we know a little bit about the underbrush thing that happened, but I feel like I have so much to ask.
But I can give you a parallel from higher education, something one of my professors taught me.
Okay.
He said the dirty little secret in higher education was something called deferred maintenance. That it was easier to just take the funds that were allocated for this year and do something more fun with them rather than to repaint and repair and maintain the buildings. Because now what would have been spent on proper maintenance, now you can spend that on a fun project. Well, you do that for enough years, the building is run down enough where it's cheaper to tear it down and build a new one than to keep up with the one that you have already had. So without having laid a slide rule to the California situation, if you are not spending the money on regular, ordinary forestry maintenance all the time, as it regularly should be done as a steady state activity, if you're not always managing your water with the idea that you're going to need that water, then yes, you can go do some other interesting activities of the moment. But at some point, that's going to come around and you're going to need the resources that were not being put away or maintained in those other years. It's an opportunity cost.
Okay.
So sometimes doing the boring, drudgery, unattractive things is exactly what you should be doing. And there's nothing glamorous about it, but maintenance is a very important thing to do.
Yeah, of course. It's like keeping up a house.
Yeah, once you let it go, it's tough to get it back.
Yeah, no kidding. So before we go, because we're running out of time now, there's one more couple. I don't know if you want to cover anything real quick, Eva, but there's something I wanted to bring up that I wrote about this week, also apparently on What Are We Calling This, Rudge Rants. Somebody, John Root said, "Dear Elon Musk, it's way past time you banned porn on X. Get rid of it." And I guess porn is back on the table now with the Supreme Court, which it has been up and down the Supreme Court with over and over again, everything from Playboy on up. So I wrote regarding this topic. I said, porn is covered under free speech. I mean, like, we've seen this over and over and over again. I said, it's like a multitude of things we don't agree with, but must tolerate in order to have freedom for ourselves. One can remove whatever they don't wish to see. So, it's talking about having it in your algorithm. So if you don't want to have it, just take it out, right? So this has gone all the way through the Supreme Court repeatedly. I seldom see it, and I was in the light fetish industry with pinup, Playboy, comic book modeling, wrestling, feet. I said, and I still push this because it still earns. I said, but who defines what porn is? Technically, it's anything with insertion and or bodily fluids. The rest is just erotica, which has been around since the Renaissance era. From Messina to the Statue of David to Picasso, they were always painting nudes and, erotic paintings. But someone could look at a bare foot and push that into the AI policing as porn, or superhero cosplay, fitness photos, Dallas Cowboy cheerleader shots, or a bikini photo from your latest vacation. So it's a very, very slippery slope. And we've seen exactly this approach with Meta on Facebook. So we cannot pretend it won't happen. It already has. Regular posts getting slashed and burned as hate speech, nudity, threats, and people are getting striked, banned, losing their accounts. So it's like defining hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. None. Okay, it doesn't exist. There's just speech, and then there are hateful people, hateful users. Whoever defines it, however, holds power over all speech and sets a legal precedent for taking away more rights regarding our language. So you have to be very careful what you're asking for. Too many are unable to understand how the law works and how it affects the bigger picture. Or they have too much shame around something as natural as sex and nudity, and then they cast that upon others. Additionally, every parent stupidly gives their kid unrestricted access to the internet with phones and devices. And now that's the content provider's problem. How wild is that? So parents, be parenting your kids. Okay. This is not the adult business is a legal tax paying business. Stop trying to just stop. I'm talking to you, right-wing Christians.
Yeah, Allie says something that I put up about that.
Yeah. I didn't get to see it, but I'm reading it. I'm going to reread it. Allie says porn should not be banned. What would the government define as porn? Does it end with penis in vagina, oral sex, etc., or does it extend to nudity and lewdness? It's a very scary precedent, right? It could be like you giving somebody the finger, and they're like, "Oh, that's that should be banned." And Jacob says, "Huh."
I'm sorry, April. It takes me to Rule 34.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is in the world, somebody will find that sexy, and somebody else will be willing to provide that for them for a price. Exactly. So it doesn't matter if it's egg timers, hubcaps. Somebody is going to really like it, and somebody else will figure out how to make $1 off of it.
There's somebody out there who is super into armpits.
Probably more than one.
Yeah. No. There are people out there into armpits. Okay, is that porn? And Bigwig says, when you ban things, you are making about opinions and not law. Thank you. Very well said. And Allie says, and what really irks me about this is a lot of online conservative figures like Maloney Mack are in favor of banning porn. Usually, these are the religious extremist types on the online right. Exactly. So, Bigwood says that the Statue of David is pornographic and should be destroyed. Absolutely, we should have been on that. So, did you remember like one year Americans went over there and they actually covered up his weenus? They put
No, I remember
they
hearing
put
something
something
about
over his weenus. So it's just like, oh my God.
that. Whatever.
Yeah. So look, listen, right wingers, get over yourselves because we all know you jack it too. So stop. Just stop. Oh man. And Damon says, from what I understand, the Supreme Court is hearing about access, not actual porn. Porn is a First Amendment issue. Government, that's right, they call it government, has no right infringing. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. But remember, we're a country of law and precedent. So when they talk about access, exactly what does that mean? So they did the save, the kids law, the FOSTA SESTA a few years ago. And that law to protect children from child trafficking, remember that one where they took down all the child trafficking things, ended up putting sex workers, destroying their careers or whatever you want to call it, their livelihood. It ended up destroying the underground sting operations that people had where they could actually catch people trafficking. And it did nothing to stop child sex trafficking. But it made them feel that was something that, Trump was behind. And I know that was in the right place. He's always been very, very adamant against human sex trafficking, child safety, pedophilia, all that stuff. But I know heart was in the right place, but it didn't do anything to really help, I don't believe. And when Winona says, these people are the worst, they're always looking for the government to ban everything instead of getting up off their lazy asses and being a parent and explaining to your kids. That's right. And here's the thing. There are a lot of adult options through multiple avenues with your ISP and your service providers to stop your children from having access to different things. Eva, will you explain that? Because you were telling me about some of that with your friend, where you can her friend can actually shut off her kids' phones from work when they're being dickheads.
Yeah. In fact, she's got accounts set up through her server where it's available to shut off their TV, their phone, all individually, so it doesn't affect everybody in the house. So, and she does that at night, so this way, and that includes their iPhone watch or whatever they call that, everything. So they can't be on all night long, up all night talking to a girlfriend, boyfriend, all that stuff.
Stranger pretending he's a 15-year-old boy.
Right. So yeah, it's been helpful, at least controlling the household when you have teenagers that are just being teenagers.
That's very helpful.
Sometimes.
But
anyway, it's good.
And what's your opinion on that, Dr. Ron?
Well, it's toothpaste that we cannot put back in the tube.
Well said.
When I would teach classes in media studies, we would remember when Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore had to sleep in separate beds.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That on I Love Lucy, the fact that Lucy was pregnant was a shocking, unusual thing.
With an interracial husband. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How dare she with a Cuban?
So if we fast forward to where we are now, the fact that we can have, just for the sake of a name, but how does Stormy Daniels get to be a household name? That's a name that a generation ago, nobody would know unless, they saw it in a magazine behind the barbershop.
I'll be honest with you. I had no idea who she was before all the Trump fiasco, but I knew who Jenna Jameson was.
Right. But the idea is that is now, it's right up there with knowing who plays Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. So it's in general circulation. So it's too late to put any of those things away. Now it's time to learn how to use them responsibly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And Damon says kids are watching YouTube all day long. Yeah, it's true, right? Like they're just, and they don't even have the attention span to like stick on there for more than 3 seconds. They're just like, like their brains are like, I don't know if this is a word, but fractionated. They just keep going and going and going. It's crazy. I can't even imagine the attention span that this is. The MTV generation already shortened the attention span, and now it's just you got about 6 seconds now.
It made it difficult for me to teach. I had to be an entertainer as much as a teacher.
Yeah.
Just in order to hold their attention long enough to get
Yeah.
them for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah.
How long were
And
you a
it's
teacher?
exhausting. Well, this is where I should harumph, but the first college class I taught was in 82.
Ah,
And I retired on June 6th of 23. So I've seen
Wow.
all the generations come and go. And I had to keep raising my entertainment game. I had to gamify my classes much more than to just merely give a lecture and they take notes and there's a midterm on a final and a term paper. You can't do that anymore. You would never live through that. You've got to change gears 2 or 3 times every period.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen kids going through like conniption fits and like almost like a withdrawal if they can't play their games or on their phone. It's crazy.
Dopamine starvation.
Yeah. I keep my phone in the kitchen. So when I watch TV, I don't have it out there with me because I want to be focused on what I'm watching. I don't use my phone as an alarm, so I don't have it in my bedroom. I use an alarm clock because I don't want it there disturbing my sleep. And today I went to the gym without my phone because I just wanted to work out. And I'm actually really enjoying that. I'm enjoying having my brain back and not hijacked. So, and my attention span not hijacked. So, yeah. I mean, it's a hard balance when you're doing. Oh, drink. Birds. There you go. You got birds. When the birds go nuts, you got to drink. By the end of the show, you're going to be quite tipsy. Yeah, but it's a fine line when you're doing things online and you're supposed to be pushing and getting back to people and promoting all the time. But it's also trying to find your sanity as well and not keep your attention span from taking a nosedive. And I wrestle with that all the time.
I can't cite the study, and I wish I could, but it said that just having the phone nearby, even if it's not turned on, is a distraction because part of the brain is wondering what they're missing.
FOMO.
Right.
Yeah.
So that 1-2% of the brain is being tied up in, I wonder what's going on out there as opposed to what's going on in here where I'm at.
Right here in the now. Well, I believe that. That's why I don't even bring it out when I'm watching. War Damon, you're so funny. I'm missing porn. Good one. Yeah, I don't even bring it into the, like I said, if I'm watching a movie or an episode from a show that I'm into. I don't even bring it out there with me because I want to focus 100%. And by the way, Silo, if you haven't seen Silo, that's Apple TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second season of Silo came out super, just well written, great characters, great casting, really good. Highly recommend it. So that's, if you're looking for something good to watch, that's a very, very interesting and rather unique show. The really tall guy married to Susan Sarandon.
Robbins.
Tim Robbins is starring in that. And Damon, yes, Landman is another one. Totally agree with you. Yeah, Landman is very good. So those have been my two favorites lately. Cool Awesome Dude says, why is the government so petty about porn? Sex is normal, right? I don't know. Is it the government so much as it is like people? So,
well, since we're running,
where have it been? Where have you been there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was seeing that.
Patreon.com, April Hunter. come see me after this. And I'm on Twitter, April Hunter, and Instagram, Real April Hunter. I'm very easy to find. And War Demon, you know where to find me. So,
Mhm.
and when Innocent, same thing. I'm working on a craft project. I don't even turn mine on until I'm done. If I'm working on one, yes,
Awesome.
yep.
Uh,
Go ahead. What were you saying, Eva?
I was just gonna say, where else can they find you?
Oh, well, like I said, I gave you a list of where I'll be in person, and you can find me through everything. Yeah, X on April Hunter, social media, Instagram Real April Hunter, Patreon.com April Hunter. Dr. Ron, can they find you?
Well, actually, my social media handle is Dr. Ron Thomas Jr., all one
Okay.
word. And that's the same on X, on LinkedIn, everywhere. Certainly happy to hear from your audience, because this has been a terrific discussion. So I'd look forward to hearing more from people like this.
Yeah, I would
Wonderful.
recommend you guys follow Dr. Ron Thomas, because he has a wealth of wisdom, and he is very educated on a lot of things and has a really cool input on quite a few topics, and in a very intelligent and moderate way, where I find the conversation with you on social media to be very fascinating, and you're very down to earth and aware. So it's one of the things I really appreciated, because there's so many people that are just not,
One of my colleagues at Full Sail suggested that he and I ought to do a podcast together, and he said we should call it "Two Reasonable People Discuss Things." It would never catch on. Nobody would buy
right.
that.
Right. It's weird. It's weird what's going on right now. There's a lot of craziness. One of the things I said in Silo that has stuck with me, and I can't get it out of my head, to be honest with you, is there was a psyop going on, and they did what they could to erase people's minds. And they said what followed was 140 years of peace. But they erased history. They got people to stop reading books. They banned books. They banned history. They changed history, and they erased people's minds. And I have been playing that over and over and over and over again in my head. Because one of the things I believe is that we need to know our history. And if we don't know it, we're going to repeat it. And a lot of people don't know it. And a lot of people, I do believe, have some serious prefrontal cortex damage from COVID. Because that's why so many people lost their smell and taste. And part of what the prefrontal cortex does is it's memory, it's emotion, it's cognitive ability. And we're seeing this. We're seeing the cognitive ability drop with the car accident rates sky high since 2020, 2021. So we're seeing numbers to back this up. And we're seeing the lack of memory for events as short as just a few years ago, where people just are forgetting things. So is this a good thing or a bad thing? So I don't know. As Linda says, peace doesn't equal happiness. So that's something to ponder. Could forgetting everything be a good thing? Or could forgetting things lead to repeating things? So there you go. That's something to think about. So anyway, thank you, Dr. Ron Thomas Jr., for joining us today. I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you,
Thank
Eva.
you for the invitation.
I appreciate you coming on very much. Thank you, Eva.
Maybe next time we see each other.
Yes. Well, he's obviously devastatingly handsome. Duh.
Yeah,
That's all we have coming on here. Duh.
that's right.
And that's the only people who come into our chats too.
That's right.
I mean, please.
Smart, sexy
And-
people, right?
That's right. And as Winona says, it also messes with the Christ consciousness, if I'm not mistaken. The prefrontal cortex does.
That's right.
You are correct. But yes, thank you all for being here very, very much. We appreciate you. We will be back next Tuesday night live, 7 p.m. right here on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you. We did make a lot of contacts this week. We are going to have some fresh new guests and some people back that you loved and asked to have back. So come back and join us. We will be here, and we love you lots. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you guys have a great night. We will talk to you soon. Mwah.
Yes.
Thank you.